Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Raphael, and you just sent me some questions about some of the grammar lessons you've been working on in my online TOEFL course, and I'm going to go ahead and give you some answers to those. So, let's take a look. You say the text uses this example. However, are cataclysmic collisions really worth worrying about in that they occur on average only once in a million years or so? Okay, so then you said, I'd like to ask you whether the following example belongs to the same use because I do not understand clearly its use. As a consequence, that it is a question. So you say, it is true in that it was proven in a court of law. Yes, you're using, I think, this in the same way. Think of it kind of like in as much as, but if that's too complicated, think about because. It is true because it was proven in a court of law, or is it really worth worrying about because they occur on average only once in a million years or so? So, in that is similar to the meaning of expected result. Not exactly the same. You can say, well, it's more manner, but it does work in both of these sentences in the same way to answer your question. Right? And by the way, in that it's used as a adverb clause connector of manner. Alright, let's take a look at the next one. You say, I have another question in the example of the connector once. It says, the problem is one of environmental degradation. The land is overgrazed and the kangaroos themselves suffer pretty badly once all the food is gone for them. So notice here we're using once as kind of like time, and it's introducing food and is, so it's being used as an adverb clause connector. So then you have understand the use of once, however, do not understand the meaning or the use of the expression the problem is one of environmental degradation. Should S be added? I mean, the problem is one of environmental degradations. I don't think you need to. I think degradation is used more as a uncount noun, so I don't think you can put the plural S on that particular word there. And then also one is being used correctly. You don't need the plural S on that either. Okay, you see, perhaps you could explain better this sentence and possible variations of this, focusing in the expression one of the environmental degradation. No, you can't say one of the, and that would actually be incorrect. It would be one of environmental degradation. That would be the way to say that. You could say, if you wanted to say this another way, the problem is because of environmental degradation. That would be another way that you might say that, if you want to get a variation of that. Alright, let's keep going. You say, in lesson number 9, sentences with multiple clauses, you have to say, Eric wants to attend school so that he can develop the entrepreneurial skills which will help him grow his father's business. You say, why don't you put help him to grow? That's a good question. You could do that. If I said, I helped him wash his car, I helped him to wash his car, I think with the word help, you can either use the infinitive or the base form of the verb after that particular verb. So sometimes words like make, if I said, I made my friend clean his room, instead of saying, I made my friend to clean his room, or let, I think make, let, help, these kinds of verbs, if you're using an infinitive after those verbs, you can, in many cases, just use the base form of the verb there, and it is considered correct to do that. So, to answer your question. Alright, let's take a look at lesson number 9. So we have... So in lesson number 9, you have the sentence here, a coach also instills sportsman spirits in his students. Let's read it one more time. So you have a coach also instills sportsman spirit in his students if all the world were to remember the advice given to them by their coaches. Then you have, I want to ask whether it should be written like this. A coach would instill sportsman spirit in his students if all the world were to remember the advice given to them by their coaches. Yeah, I'm going to say it's really probably not the best written sentence in the first place. So I see what you're saying. You're changing instills to would instill because were. So you're talking about what's called a present impossible condition. So I'm okay with that. The way that you made that correction is fine. So I agree with you on that. You say, I was studying the grammar section and I try to understand every sentence explained, but I can assure you that I cannot understand those. I would say here, instead of above mentioned, I would say those mentioned above. Say, I've never seen, you want to put here, not this, but these kinds of structures. So if you could help me explaining So could you help me explaining those cases or giving me some specific material in the course in order to understand and learn better? I really appreciate it. All right, so I hope in this video I've given you a little bit of information to help you understand more. And this correction that you made, I think, works perfectly here. All right?